Hi, Maria here. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to share with you 5 fragrances that frankly I have gotten bored of. So they're all fantastic fragrances. Technically were all love at first sniffs, well, except for one. But these are fragrances that I have enjoyed, I've worn, I love, but I'm kind of tired of them. So I don't know if I've worn them too much. I don't know if I've just had them too long, but they're not really doing it for me as far as I rarely gravitate towards them. So I thought I'd share that with you today. But before I get started, if you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and hit that button. Join the weird and wonderful family. It would be amazing to have you part of the community. And let's get into this. So the first one I'm going to start with is one that I've heard varying reports on. So some people really love it. Some people really hate it. I really love it, but I just never wear it anymore. But I can't get rid of it because I can't get rid of any of these because I love them. Like, they have a place in my heart. I feel guilty for even talking like this about these fragrances, but Prada La Femme. Now this fragrance is a fragrance that Miranda Priestley would wear. It smells rich and luxurious, classy, sophisticated, not too much, not too bold, just the right amount of sophistication. Seriously, it's fantastic. So what characterizes this would definitely be the tuberose. It's not a bubblegum tuberose. There's some yellow florals in this as well, which I definitely get. But what I love about this is there's a spice in here. There's carrot seeds. So there's a bit of sweetness, a bit of spiciness to it. It's amazing. And the cool thing about this fragrance is although you could wear it all year round, when it really shines is in the summer. So in the summertime, like I wore this one year. We haven't actually been on a holiday in over 5 years. So 5 years ago, I wore this to Kelowna. I think it was 5 years ago. It might have been longer now. No, 5 years ago. So I wore it to Kelowna, wore it the whole entire time I was there. And I absolutely loved wearing it in the heat. It was like hot, so like 35, 40 degrees Celsius. And it just performed beautiful. Didn't get too cloying. It just blossomed, honestly, in the heat. So this is a beautiful fragrance. And honestly, it's signature scent worthy. So I love it. I don't want to get rid of it, but I am kind of bored of it. So I wore it quite a lot. Like for me, this is a lot. So I've worn it quite a lot. And yeah, I just never reach for it. Maybe I need to start reaching for these. Like I'm kind of bored of them, but maybe I just need to fall in love with them again, if that makes sense. So anyway, Prada La Femme, beautiful fragrance. Just never, ever gravitate towards it. Now, the next fragrance, this is one that I bought very early on when I started to get into fragrances. So I would have been 50, so 4 years ago. This is one that I picked up. I think I got it for about 60 bucks, and it is Olympia Aqua Légère. So this one, it has some ginger in it. Of course, it's got the vanilla, the amber, the salt. This fragrance I always thought it was the aqua version, but I finally took a picture of the bottom because it doesn't show properly. And I blew it up, and it's the Aqua Eau de Parfum Légère. So this has clementine, lemon blossom, winter jasmine, solar notes, water lily, salt, vanilla, ambergris, and cashmere wood. Now, personally, I get some ginger in there, so I don't know, maybe I'm just imagining that it's in there, but it does smell gingery to me, almost a little bit peachy. So I don't know, maybe it's the Légère version. I know it's in the Aqua Légère bottle, so it's got to be Aqua Légère. This is not my favorite flanker, so I've tried a few of them since then. Really love Solar, really love Legend. I think I love Blossom too. Of course, I have the Intense. So there's actually a few other ones that I would be interested in getting. This is a very nice fragrance. It's very solar-y. And it kind of has a bit of an alien vibe. So I have Alien Eau Sublime, which is one of my favorite aliens for summer. And this one actually is really similar to that. So this was a love at first sniff, really enjoyed wearing it. But I think part of it is that it was one of the first ones. So I've definitely evolved since getting it, although I still really like it. But I just never reach for it because I have newer, more fun things to reach for. I think that's part of it. Like when you've had a fragrance for a while in your collection, you tend to reach for the newer stuff. But again, like now that I'm looking at these, maybe I need to revisit them and wear them because I really, really enjoyed. You're like a good friend. You're like a good friend. So anyway, Olympia Aqua Eau de Parfum Légère by Paco Rabanne. This one is a really difficult one for me to talk about because I really, again, I love this fragrance, but I just never reach for it. It's like I've smelt it over and over and over again. So it's older, Alien. And this is the original, like this is the Alien Terry Mugler version. So happy to have the actual OG pre-formulated version. So I really enjoy the fragrance. I like the sexiness. It's a beautiful fragrance. Part of the reason why I don't reach for it much is because I've only got a 30 ml. But to be honest, I haven't worn this in about a year and a half because I, again, am just reaching for newer stuff, samples, all of that kind of stuff. So I never want to be without this because I really, really enjoy it. Like I'm a hardcore Alien fan, so I really, really, really do enjoy this, but I just never reach for it. I've smelt it enough. So it's not going anywhere. I will reach for it here and again, but honestly, I don't go for this very often at all. Like seriously, haven't touched it in over a year and a half. Now this next one was the first fragrance haul that I did from Fragrance Buy. So I bought this one and I think 3 others, and it was totally a love at first sniff, and it is Sofia by Sofia Vergara. Now I talked this one up forever for good reason. It's kind of a black currant, like it's amazing. It smells happy. It makes me happy. It smells like a beautiful, glorious, sophisticated ingenue. So she's not overly dramatic. She's still young enough that she's got some innocence and some excitement about life. She hasn't become totally cynical. That's this girl. So it's like a younger version of a Coco Mademoiselle, but take out the citrus and Coco Mademoiselle and add black currant, and you'd have something similar. This also has more rosy vibe than I would say a Coco Mademoiselle, but it's a very sophisticated, awesome fragrance. It's one of my favorite, like to date, one of my favorite celebrity fragrances. But I never reach for this one lately either. Like it's been probably 2 years, and it sits with all my fragrances all the time because I really enjoy this. But the DNA, like, so this Coco Mademoiselle, La Vie Belle, all of them, they're very nice fragrances, but I tend to reach for things that are a little bit outside of the box lately, rather than these uber feminine ones. But if you want an uber feminine fragrance, this is honestly beautiful. Like this was one that I always would go and sniff because it put me in a good mood every time. Like it is a mood booster for sure. I'm going to start sniffing this more often. My car got stolen. Like I can't believe it. Like I was working from home, and it was between 6 a.m. and 8:45 a.m. Because the dogs would have been barking. Before that, I was in the bedroom getting ready. So 8:45 a.m. I went out, and the dogs didn't bark at all. And I was bringing one of my dogs to get her nails clipped, and walk out and there's no car. So yeah, so it's been 2 weeks. They still haven't found it. So I'm hoping that we get a good amount from insurance if they don't find it in 2 weeks. Like in another 2 weeks, I think they make the decision. But I can't believe it. Like, who would steal a car in the middle of the day? Like, and the other thing is I kept on anticipating that it would be back. Like for about 5 days, every day I found myself going out and looking outside to see if they returned it, because I thought, like, who in their right mind steals a vehicle? Like, I can't even imagine. So I just thought, like, maybe they would bring it back, but no such luck. Anyway, I'm going to sniff this more often because it's definitely mood boosting. But yeah, as much as I love it, I never reach for it. Again, it's one of those oldie but goodies, but because it's oldie, it's kind of lost its luster for me. I seriously feel so guilty talking about the fragrances like this because seriously, they're all excellent fragrances, but yeah, just never reach for them. The last fragrance, this one is actually a newer fragrance, but I wore it a ton when I first got it, and it is Azaro Girl Wanted. So this is just a tiny bottle. I actually really enjoy the bottle shape. I know lots of people don't like this. I like the fact that it's supposed to look like a grenade, but it also looks like a flower. So I love the fact, like it's like a flower grenade. That's a happy thought. Like if I was a superhero, I would want to set off flower grenades. So, you know, you take the weapon and you throw it, and instead of it bringing mass destruction, it would bloom into all these flowers, and people would just be so mesmerized by the beauty that they would stop their evil and come to the good side. Anyway, this fragrance, Girl Wanted, super feminine. It's delicious. Like, it's a delicious fragrance. It has datura flower, which is, it reminds me of like any solar-ish type vibe. So like a tiare flower, you know, kind of in that category. But this is paired with dulce de leche. So this sweet kind of caramely milky vibe in this fragrance as well. There's some ginger and there's some pomegranate in here as well. So you get a little bit of fruitiness. It's tart. It's a little bit zingy. It's seriously such a good fragrance, and it's really underrated. Like, people talked about this for a little while and then people quit talking about it altogether. But seriously, this is a fantastic fragrance. So really, really enjoy it. The longevity is decent on it. It's sexy. It's a little bit like, it's not a mature sexy, like a va va voom, vampy sexy, but it's definitely a flirty sexy for sure. It's got a little bit of a lactonic vibe with that dulce de leche. It's just absolutely beautiful, kind of dries down with some tonka, some vetiver. So a really solid release, but I just find, I think part of it is that I rarely go out on like sexy dates. That needs to change too. Like, what the heck? I've been married for 30 years. I need some sexy dates. But anyway, with my husband. Anyway, this is a great fragrance again, but I just never reach for it. It's been out for about a year, and I don't think I've worn it once. Prior to that, I wore it all the time. But I think that's what happens with me. I'll wear something a lot if I love it, and then I kind of get a little bit bored of it. So that's what's happened here, but maybe I need to revisit it because it's really, really quite luscious. So that is it. Those are the fragrances that I'm rather bored of, never reach for these days, even though they're all fantastic. I will continue to mention these because I think they're awesome fragrances that people should have and would enjoy in their collections, but I'm just not reaching for them these days. What about you? What is something that you've majorly loved and you just never reach for these days? Leave it in the comments. I would love to know, and I hope you guys have an amazing week. We'll talk to you soon.